penonton-penonton terpegun apabila sejarah tercatat di hadapan mereka.
Merdeka!
Kuala Lumpur, 1957. The official proclamation of independence by Malaysia's first Prime Minister Tunku Abdul Rahman Putra Al-Haj marked the dawning of a new era for Malaya. In making way for the new federation, dating back to 1956, the foundations of the Ministry of External Affairs, later renamed in 1966 as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, were laid with a pioneering batch of 11 career diplomats. Today, the ministry operates from Wisma Putra, a majestic complex in Putrajaya, the country's administrative capital. Bearing the mandate and responsibility of conducting Malaysia's foreign relations, it is geared towards upholding the country's sovereignty and defending its interests in the international arena. During its inception, missions were set up in many countries, namely London, Washington, Canberra, New York, New Delhi, Jakarta, and Bangkok. By 1963, Malaysia had established 14 diplomatic missions overseas, and the number grew ceaselessly. Today, Malaysia has a network of 105 diplomatic missions spanning the globe, a proud testament to the ministry's progress in tandem with the nation. Since 1957, Malaysia's foreign policy has shown a steady evolution, always reflecting its political stewardship with pragmatic responses to geopolitical and economic changes of the times. During the era of post-independence, Malaysia's foreign policy may have been geared towards survival and was markedly anti-communist and pro-Western in orientation for its close links with the Commonwealth, but it soon shifted towards independence and equidistance from major powers. Primarily in the early 70s, Malaysia identified itself as a Muslim nation. Thus, with a strong emphasis on regionalism beginning to take root, the search for new relations abroad increased substantially in the region and beyond. In 1971, the concept of the Zone of Peace, Freedom, and Neutrality was introduced in Southeast Asia as an effort to broaden the areas of cooperation in the region, thus contributing to its solidarity and stability. Thereafter, in the late 70s, Malaysia took a posture towards non-alignment, neutrality, and peaceful coexistence with the consolidation of regional collaboration, where ASEAN became the cornerstone of its foreign policy. ASEAN, the regional grouping of Southeast Asian nations, is built on the economic success of its member states and their potential for greater growth. Malaysia believes that a strong and successful ASEAN is not only an economic necessity, but also a strategic imperative. A prosperous, consolidated, and stable ASEAN at peace with itself and with its immediate neighbors provides the best guarantee for the security of the entire Southeast Asia and East Asia region. In the 1980s, under the stewardship of Tun Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad, who was considered as one of Asia's most influential leaders, Malaysia's foreign policy began to take a much greater economic orientation. Malaysia's rapid modernization and promotion of non-individualistic Asian values through the Look East policy resulted in increase of foreign investments, technology transfer, in-house training as well as human resources development. During the decade, Malaysia saw itself in the pursuit of new initiatives that stress on the defense of the rights, interests, and aspirations of developing countries and the advocacy of South-South cooperation and other initiatives, namely Antarctica as the common heritage of mankind, reverse investment or prosper Thai neighbor, Group of 15, ASEAN Mekong Basin Development Cooperation, and Islamic unity. While change has become a general feature of Malaysian foreign policy, continuity has also been evident. Both the change and continuity mark a higher level of confidence and maturing of the country in the conduct of its international affairs. Today, Malaysia's foreign policy is well in place. Policies have been further refined towards a more sophisticated articulation of Malaysia's views and standing in the global community. At the multilateral level, Malaysia has and will continue to be active in the OIC, Commonwealth, NAM, and the UN. Malaysia will continue to use the platform available to speak on global issues like human rights, environmental degradation, terrorism, democracy, economic reform, energy, and food crisis. Such fora are useful in promoting cooperation between member states and in finding solutions to global problems. Malaysia's continued development, economic prosperity, and political stability, coupled with a consistent and benign foreign policy, has allowed it to earn a reputation as a respected voice in international affairs, especially among developing countries. Making its presence felt has also allowed Malaysia to exercise some influence in the setting of international agendas. The fundamental principles in governing interstate relations, such as sovereign equality and mutual respect, as well as non-interference in each other's internal affairs, will continue to guide Malaysia's relations with other countries. The years ahead, while challenging, will see Malaysia's foreign policy specially oriented towards ensuring Malaysia's success domestically as well as a geopolitical and economic player globally. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs plays an integral part in presenting the aspirations of all Malaysians to the world. Indeed, its steadfast adherence to these principles, supported by a consistent foreign policy, has established its credibility in the eyes of the international community.